Can you believe that 2026 is right around the corner as I get comfortable here? The year went fast, didn't it? Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's not a good thing. It is what it is. All right, so before we get started, hopefully you had a chance to complete 5 of the tasks before this class because that'll really help you. Because I will talk about everything. There are some things that we're going to do, and other things that hopefully you did ahead of time. But hopefully you have your printed workbook and one primary goal for 2026. You can obviously have more than one goal, but one goal for this class will help keep you focused. And if you want to have any of the crystals or any of the essential oils that I recommend on page 28 and 29, you can obviously have those. I have my supply here, and okay, I'm looking for my I Love Crystals pen. Because I'll be going through this with you as well. And I'll let you know what oil I'm smelling, what crystal I'm holding. But for those who are here and watching the recording who may not have these essential oils or have these crystals, you don't need them. Okay, you don't need them. Um, but they can help with your frequency shift because that's what's different about this goal setting method is you have to shift your frequency in order to manifest something that you currently don't have. It's all frequency. That's what this is. So, all right. So I'm checking out who all is here. There are quite a few who are going to be watching the recording. So, all right. Yay. Super happy to see all you here. All right. I'm going to stop sharing this. I don't have a PowerPoint. It's just going to be me. Um, so here, let me get myself. Yeah, like I said, you can turn off your camera if you wish, which I normally don't do, as you all know. I like to see everybody, but this one I want you to be comfortable. Okay? So I'm going to be timing everything, and I'll explain in a little bit why I do that. But I want to start with that goal setting. Here, I need to pull up my notes on the screen. Goal setting has dramatically changed over the last 5 to 10 years, and I don't know if you have noticed that what you used to do no longer works. Techniques that used to be successful are not working for you anymore. Um, feel free in the chat to, comment as I'm going along. But I don't know if you have noticed that. I definitely have noticed that. What even worked at the start of 2020 doesn't work anymore unless you really want to embrace struggle and hustle, energy, and exhaustion. So when you goal set with just your mind and your thoughts and your ego, you likely are not energetically aligned with what you really want deep down. You may be, but you are probably not. And then it's super easy for life to get in the way, to get busy, and to forget about your goals. And what it does is it ends up creating a cycle of shame and disappointment, which then makes it more difficult to pursue the same goals year after year after year. So you're going to learn my technique for how to align with your goals. It's not just picking a goal, stating a goal, you have to align with it. And if it is not aligned, like it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel joyful. You're not going to want to do the work. And it's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it go. And when you align, you're not forcing them into existence, which will leave you depleted. Because when we are forcing goals, those goals are usually being influenced by outside sources like societal expectations and even programming. We're all programmed. Our brain is just a big computer. And so you may be goal setting according to past programming, but it's not truly what you want really deep down at a soul level. And so the thing about goals is that when they really matter to you, to why you are here on earth at this time, that's when you are energetically aligned with your soul and your goal. And nothing's going to stop you from the journey to manifest it. So I have been creating and altering and updating this system since 2008, but this is the ninth year that I have taught it. And it really does evolve every year because the deeper I dive into what it really means to align with your soul, which is why you're here, and when I have really gone deep into working with frequency, that's when I learned that forcing a goal through ego and willpower may temporarily work if you truly have a very, very strong willpower, which a lot of people don't. But it's not a long-term solution because you're going to get exhausted quickly because you're out of alignment. It just doesn't feel good. And there are all sorts of factors that work together in whether we're going to be successful with our goals. And this workbook is the process. And you may look at this workbook and think, oh my gosh, this is a lot of moving parts. Once you understand it, you're just going to do this. I mean, it's just going to be how you think and how you operate. It's going to be like what your morning routine is right now. You don't even think about it, you just do it. Okay. So this is not a class to just sit through. You're going to fill in some of the pages and then do nothing. That's not what this is about. That's not what I want for you. Okay, if you want this process to work for you, you have to do the work. So we're going to go through all of the pages, but you'll need to go back and fill them in a little bit more. Because what you're doing is you're shifting energetically. I can't do that for you, but I can show you how to do it. So I am timing these exercises. This honestly should be an 8-hour class, but I'm not going to keep you for 8 hours. 4 hours probably seems like a long time to be online, but it's going to go very fast. And I'm timing these exercises because I want you to write down the first thought, the first idea, the first thing that comes into your mind, because that's intuition. We are all intuitive. We are all intuitive. I don't ever want you to say that you're not because you are. And so when you have to write down something quickly, you're getting out of analysis paralysis and overthinking. And that's what we're going to do with this. I want you to just write down what comes to mind. And then you're going to go back and you're going to fill in with more detail. Okay. So if you have taken this class in the past, and many of you have, but you didn't really pursue your goals, you probably weren't in alignment with them. Maybe you are in alignment if you want to have the same goal now. Maybe your goals have shifted because here's the thing, you are not in the same place you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We're going to be reflecting on that in this class. Because sometimes we want to reach a goal, but it's not in alignment with what we're here to do. And that's why it feels like an uphill battle. And so I hear people say all the time, life got in the way. All year? I totally get having things that upend your world. But life is meant to get in the way because it's your life and you should be living it no matter what is happening. I mean, I think back, I have had 6 years of having life get in the way from losing both of my parents and the aftermath of the grief and uprooting my life and businesses to move. It's been a very tumultuous 6 years. Yet in those 6 years, I moved faster to manifest my goals. How is that possible with all of that chaos? It's because I was aligned with what was most important to me. I gave up certain goals that I wanted, but it wasn't true alignment. That freed up a huge amount of time. I gave myself white space in my calendar because if your calendar is so packed 7 days a week, you're not going to manifest what you want. You have to give yourself downtime. You have to get out of the hustle energy and the forcing. And when I did that and started flowing, I'll tell you, the floodgates opened up. And when I even think back to times in the past, 30 years ago, where I was achieving so much, like professionally, it was because I was aligned. And it didn't matter what life threw my way. I didn't realize back then that that's what it was, but I was truly aligned with what I was supposed to be doing. And so, bam, 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 like things were happening. And at other times, it's like, man, I am pounding this square peg into a round hole. Why won't it go in? Because it wasn't aligned. It wasn't meant to happen. So, we're going to be doing a lot with energetics in this class, and what you believe about your goal is going to determine the outcome. It's actually a quantum physics principle called the observer effect. What you believe about it is your outcome. And if you think, oh my gosh, this is going to take a lot of hard work, then yeah, you're going to be working hard the whole time. If you think, oh my gosh, that is so out of reach, I don't know how I'm going to do it, you won't. So we're going to be working on that. And one thing that I really want you to take to heart is that it is never your goals and what you want in life or your family, your job, other obligations. It's never or, it's always and. You can have your goals in your life and have your family and your career and your obligations. You just got to flip that. You got to flip that script. And goal setting is not about naming a resolution on New Year's Day. Okay, this is actually the time of year where we get clear. We're not going to put pedal to the metal on New Year's Day. Nope, nope. We save that for the spring equinox. Okay. So, a lot of people, they name a resolution, they create a vision board, and then they just hope it comes true. But setting goals at the beginning of the year is actually not aligned with the cycle of the seasons. Okay, so we're going to be goal setting two different ways this year. The first is spending the winter in quiet reflection and finding that alignment, getting that soul aligned inspiration. Yes, you can be doing things, but I mean, you're not going to be hopping in a car and instantly going 80 miles an hour. That's not going to happen. Because at the spring equinox, that's when you officially launch your goals. So, in my Secret Shift community, of which many of you are in, that's what we do. We literally write out our goals at the spring equinox and plant them in the ground. So, that gives you the natural energies backing you. But the second thing that we're going to do, and it's new this year, is focus on little mini goals related to your big goal with each new moon. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. So when it comes to goal setting, you also need to pay attention to the end result of what it's like to have your goal. Like you have to know why you want it. Because if you don't know why, you're not going to keep going when life gets chaotic and challenging. you need to energetically align with what it means for changing your frequency because your frequency determines what you experience in life. It determines what you draw in, the opportunities that are there. You cannot manifest something new from the same energy that does not have what you want. To do that, you have to look at how your frequency has been the obstacle to your success. So we're going to be working on that. And when it comes to goal setting, it's being able to see and experience the end result as if you already have it. We're going to be tapping in to universal laws and quantum physics. But it's also knowing how to get from A to Z and what can get in the way of those steps so that you can get around them, plan around them. Because goals require active steps that are inspired, that are aligned, that are joyful, like you want to do them. Goals just don't magically appear. So your workbook is how I do it. And if you do everything in the workbook, like without excuse, without exception, and you go back to the workbook every month right before the new moon, as I'm going to teach you how to do, and you just continue to focus on your frequency and your alignment to your goal, you're going to do better this year. You may have a goal that will take many years to manifest, or you could do it instantly. Life will never get in the way, and you will stay motivated when you are aligned. And I've experienced that. Okay. But if you sit through this class and you don't do the work and you let life get in the way, you're going to be in the same place or a lesser place this time next year. And I know nobody wants that. So for this class, I want you to focus on one very precise, narrow goal, the big fish that fills you with excitement, even if you don't know how to achieve it. If you have not done well with this goal in the past, if it's a repeating goal, I would like you to consider setting a goal that relates to maybe your mindset or your beliefs that have interfered with that goal. So, for example, if you're setting a goal to lose weight or to just be physically healthier, rather than set a weight goal, set a goal on healing the thoughts that create the behavior and the habits that sabotage you. Okay? This is how we're energetically getting into goals. Okay? All right, so we're going to start diving into our workbook, and I want you to go to page 3. Page 3 is our primary page, and this is the page where I encourage you to post it where you're going to see it. Like put it on your refrigerator. If you have a home office, put it on your office wall so that you see it every day until your goal manifests. Now, what I want you to do right now, and you can grab an oil. I'm actually going to smell Dream Catcher oil. And if you don't have oils, just take a deep breath. Clear your mind, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to write down your top goal for the year. And I want you to write it with clarity and write it as if you already have it. So a good way to start the sentence is I have or I am. Okay? Don't say I want, I wish, I desire. Nope. That's not how you do it. Write it as if you already have it and be precise. Okay? So go ahead and do that because this is part of vision casting. And vision casting is part of the process to help you be successful in your goals. Because if you cannot see and feel your goals, you're not going to be able to take a step toward it. So, what do you really want? You may rework this after the class, and that's okay. That's why this is a PDF that you can keep printing these pages. Because what do you really want? Not what your family wants for you, not what society tells you you should want. Like for people like me who have a business, society programs us to keep earning more. Well, usually that means working more. I'm not interested in that. Okay. So it's not what society wants. It's not what you have been programmed to believe what you should want at this point in your life. What do you really want? Let me give you some ideas. If your goal is related to finances and money, it is never about the money. It's what you can do with the money. If it's about how you feel in your body, a particular weight, or just physically how you feel, it's never about the weight. It's how you emotionally feel moving through life in your physical body. How do you feel? If your goal is about relationships, it's not about healing a relationship with somebody, it's about healing the relationship with you so that your frequency is coming to relationships whole and healed. Because you can't fix anybody else, but we can work on ourselves. It's how you want to live your life and how do your goals fit into that vision for 2026? Because when you think of your big goal, will it have mattered in 10, 20, 30 years? Will you look back on your life and say, gee, I'm super glad I pursued that goal? Gee, I'm super glad that I added an extra 10 hours of work to my week so that I could manifest this goal so that I could buy this stuff. I can tell you right now, that doesn't matter. It doesn't. Because you need to be able to look back and say, I'm glad I pursued that. So you may have an idea what your goal is for 2026, but we're going to go through the process and it may change because you're going to go deeper. And it may change throughout the year. And if you're focusing on a goal that you had in the past, if you know what has blocked you, or you may learn it in this class, you either need to work on the block or maybe you let the goal go. You release it because you're not aligned with it. Okay? And like I said, if you don't have any of the essential oils or the crystals that are listed on page 28 and 29, that's okay. You don't need them. But those are going to support you in shifting your frequency because you can't manifest something new that has a different frequency based on the frequency that you have now. I'll go deeper into that. Okay, so hopefully you've written down your goal on page 3. We're going to keep referring back to this page. But now we are going to go to page 4. Okay, this was pre-event work for you to do. And if you haven't done it, it is really, really critical that you do. It's hard to move forward unless you have looked back to figure out what has worked and what hasn't worked. So many people, we are on autopilot habits. That doesn't work anymore. This is really important to honestly reflect on the year and just look at the results that you created, like what worked, especially if you're still working on the same goal. Look at the nudges forward that you made. Look at results that you desired but didn't happen. Like what didn't work? What felt like a struggle? And when you first look at what worked, it puts you into an energy of gratitude to see all that you really have and all that you've done. It's being honest in whether you took steps toward your goal last year or did you let life or a mindset stand in your way. It's important to know what the blocks were because they will show up this year and those blocks will be in your way unless you know what they are. So that's why we look at the past year before we go any further. Okay, so people get stuck in life or business when they're on autopilot and they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's really an emotional loop, and a lot of times we don't get the answers. And if you stay in the loop, you're going to feel stuck. And that's why this is important. Assess, learn, and let it go. Okay, so I want you to read through what you wrote. You know, what worked in 2025? What didn't work in 2025? You know, did you not pursue something wholeheartedly? Because when you are aligned with a goal, you go for it. Like you're excited, you want to do the steps. Okay. So if you weren't excited, you weren't aligned with it. And maybe that's okay to say, you know what, I'm not aligned with it. I'm going to let it go. So let's say that you had a financial goal for this past year, but you're just no further ahead than you were in prior years. Maybe you're further behind because you didn't do the work to find out specific things to increase your income without adding more time to your schedule. Maybe you didn't pivot away from the things that weren't working, where you spent a lot of time and only got a little money, or you didn't take the action when you had an inspired idea, or you just totally forgot about the goal and you got frustrated and you gave up, so nothing changed. So, we're going to talk about having some consistent habits. And until you can get really, really honest about your mindset and your frequency, maybe this coming year, if you wanted to have the same goal, it could involve aligning with courage and commitment to identify what stood in your way, why you couldn't really come up with the action steps. So it's not the monetary goal, it's all the fuel behind it. And who do you need to be to hold that manifestation of that goal? Because we manifest based on our frequency. We manifest who and what we are. So, who do you need to become? So, we're going to go through that. So, I would encourage you to go back through this and keep adding to it and be really super honest with yourself. Like, no emotions, just write down facts. I didn't pursue my goal. Why didn't you pursue your goal? And the answer may be because I didn't want to. I had one of those because I didn't want to. Okay, guess what's not coming into 2026? I'm letting that goal go because I didn't want to. And if you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. And then I asked myself, then why did I set that goal? Well, because it's an expectation based on where I am in my life. And it's like, all right, forget that. I'm done with that. I'm done with other people's expectations. Okay. All right. Let's go to page 5. All right. This was another thing to do before class. Now, if you don't have oracle cards or tarot cards, you can totally skip this. You do not have to do this. But man, this is one of my favorite things to do for the year. And I take a picture of my card layout and then I write it in a document. And I went back and reviewed my 2025 spread. Um, Holy cow. It was really spot on with what happened. You are getting into your higher self literally downloading to you what your map is. You're talking with yourself at a soul level. So you can create a bigger spread. My spread is massive. I'm trying to think of how many cards I have. I don't know, 16 or 20 cards, but just do this minimum if you have cards, okay? And if you want to do a bigger layout, just decide what each card stands for. Like I do cards for, this is my frequency now. This was my frequency throughout 2025. This is my frequency throughout 2026. This was a block. This was something that worked. Like you tell the cards that this is what this card means, and then you look at the meaning of the card. And what you're doing is you're getting guidance. So really pay attention to the guidance of the cards. And, I don't use this predictively. I look back on it and it helps me understand, okay, this is really instructive. Okay. So I really encourage you to do that if you like working with cards. Not everybody does. And if this is not your thing, you can totally skip that. Okay. All right. So as I'm going through this, if you have questions, please type it in the chat, okay? I want to make sure I get your questions answered. All right. We're going kind of through some of the pre-homework that you had before we get to the bigger stuff. So on page 6, numerology, I got to tell you, I love numerology. I've had numerology charts done for me. I don't even know how many years. And again, I don't use them predictively. I look back and it's like, whoa, whoa, this is amazing. And it really tells me that when we get into alignment and we are flowing, we're in our little canoe and we're going down the river of life, it's going to flow you to the things that you're supposed to. But if you are forcing, you have turned your boat around, you're trying to paddle upstream and it's exhausting. And eventually the river's going to turn you around anyway. And when you understand the energy of numerology, it's going to help you align not only with the collective numerology of the year, but your personal numerology for the year. And when you know your personal year, you're going to understand when the energies start to focus on that area of life. So 2025 was a numerology 9 year because when you add together 2025 and you drill down to a single digit, it drills down to 9. We were in an ending, and that's why we see so much collapse happening in society. Now, there were a lot of other things energetically happening, but in a 9 year, things start ending. And you have to end something and release something in order for something new to come in. Okay? Think of it like, you have a glass of water. If the water is up to the top, you can't add any more. You got to dump some out in order to add something new. 2026 is new. When you add 2, 0, 2, and 6, it's a 10, which is a master number. Or when you add 1 and 0, it's a 1. That's new beginnings, new new chapters, new opportunities. But you have to close other chapters before you start new ones. It's kind of like if you are reading too many books at once, you're going to get all the plots and all the information convoluted. You got to finish one book before you start another one. Okay. Now you're also going to want to look at your personal year and how that's going to play out for you. So I've given you a link that you can just click on in your workbook. There's a lot of numerology sites, but numerology.com has really, really simple information in there and you can dive deeper, because even though collectively we're going into a 1 year, you may be in a personal 9 year, or you may be in a 4 year. And what does that mean? What is it going to look like for you? So I find this to be very, very instructive, and it will help you understand why things may unfold the way that they do. Yes, you have free will and you can totally change the trajectory of anything. But when you look at what the natural flow is for you based on your birth year, then you can understand, okay, this is what I'm meant to focus on this year. Okay, I see here in the chat. Wasn't sure how to find my 2026 personal year. I found my life path number. Yeah, yeah, your life path is your birth year. So, and that's with you forever. Your personal year is you're going to take the month of your birth, the date of your birth, plus 2026. You're going to take all those numbers and add them together. So let's say you were born January 1st. January is a 1, the 1st is a 1, and then you're going to add 2. Now we're at 4. You're going to add another 2. We're at 6, and then you're going to add 6. That's 12. What's 12? It's 1 and 2. That's a 3. Okay, so you take the month of your birth, the date of your birth, plus 2026, and that's your personal year. Okay, thank you for asking that. All right. Let's go on to another piece of homework that you had, which was picking your word of the year. I love doing this. I love doing this so much. And I will like print out my word of the year and I stick it on my office wall. You can, turn it into a photo and put it on your phone, put it on your computer as a screen saver. But this is going to be a word that refocuses you when you get off path. So there are a lot of words. I mean, I just gave you 250 potential words. You can go off this list. But were you able to, first of all, identify five? And were you able to drill it down to one word? Okay. If you haven't done it, I want you to do it now. And literally, you spend no more than 30 seconds. You scan. You scan as fast as you can. And the words that hop out at you, like literally the word badass, it just hopped out at me. I do not think that's my word for the year. I think that's just who I am. But you just like flourish just popped out. Grace just popped out. Refresh. Like what are the words that are like instantly catching your eye? This is why in this workbook, initially do things very fast because you're getting out of your logical brain that is ego driven and wants to jam the square peg into a round hole. When you do things fast, this is intuition. Your intuition is bam, it's going to put you right on a word. Okay. Your word is going to refocus your energy when you need to. Okay. So I want you to create an image in your mind of your main goal and what is one word that describes the manifestation of that goal? And do not pick the word success. Nope, that's not what I'm thinking of. Okay. Who do you have to be in order to have that goal manifest? What is that word? Okay, we're going to go through that exercise in a little bit, but for right now, who who do you need to be? And what will you feel when you achieve it? Okay? This is a word that's a mantra. It's going to keep you focused. Post it where you can see it, make it a screensaver. It's going to redirect you when you get off track, when life gets in the way. Okay. So, what I want you to do, if you have an essential oil, I'm going to smell Envision. I love the Envision blend. Okay. We are literally going to spend 30 seconds and go through this list. And if you've already done it, do it again. See if anything else pops out. But I want you to literally close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just ask, what is my word of the year? This is kind of your guiding vision. What is my word of the year? And listen, the answer will come that fast. All right, you should have a word. When you can put yourself in the habit, you're basically training your brain, which is a computer program. When you train your brain that when you ask a question, you get an answer immediately. There is none of this mulling it over and, oh, I'm going to sit here for 10 minutes and I'm just going to wait for an answer. No, you tell your brain, I ask a question, you give me an answer. And what it is, you are connected with your higher self, which is your soul. You are literally getting a download, and your soul is like, hello, hello, here's the answer. Get yourself in the habit. As soon as you ask a question, bam, it is that fast. How fast you get the answer, okay? Now, the oils, the crystals can get you into the frequency where you stop fighting that. Because if you're not getting answers that quickly, you are fighting it. Work with your frequency tools, okay? So, did your word change? Did your word change? What I want you to do right now, and again, you can go back, you can reprint page 3, all you want. I want you to right now write down your word for 2026. You can change it, but the word that you have right now, go ahead and write it on page 3 under my word for 2026. And then I would encourage you to post it on social media. See, here's the thing about social media. Social media is not for anybody but you. Social media is literally your scrapbook. It's your online scrapbook. Post it for you because you're literally projecting that frequency out into the universe. And then every year, I love January 1st looking at I don't scroll Facebook anymore, but I look at my memories every day. And it's fun to see all the words in the years, literally going back 15 years. Like, oh, that was an interesting word. I had forgotten I had done that. Post your word on social media. You're posting it for you. If it benefits somebody else, that's great, but post it for you. All right. Now we're going to get into a new technique. This one is exciting. This one's exciting. And I'm going to try to make it really super simple because this can be a little complicated. But this is a new technique to really help you tap into the energetic power of new moons and being intentional each month. That's going to help with motivation. It's going to help with all the little bits and pieces and steps towards your goal. So, in astrology, within moon cycles, new moons are new. New beginnings. What do you want? What are we working on this month? What do you want to manifest? And then at the full moon, you basically take your foot off the gas pedal and just let the car take you where you need to go. But the new moon, get in the car and put your foot on the gas pedal. So the 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 moon, as it cycles around, each month ends up in a different zodiac sign. We have 12 zodiacs. And each new moon is at a specific degree. So if you look on page 8 at the bottom, I have listed your new moons for 2026, the degree that they are at, and in the zodiac sign that they are in. Okay, this is really powerful information to help you know which month may, for you, be focused on finances and which month may be focused on relationships or emotions or doing shadow work and releasing or having fun or community. A new moon is your blank slate. And what you want to do is you want to coordinate your astrology birth chart to where the moon is at. And then you take your primary goal for 2026 and you find the new moon energies in it. Okay, how the heck do you do that? All right. First, you need your astrological chart. Here. Let me show mine. Let me show mine. I've even given you an example in the book, and I will also explain that. Okay. All right. So, yeah, hold on. I got to try and get things moving on my screen here. All right. So, y'all have your astrological chart. What you want to look at is this. You want to look at the wheel. You want to look at the wheel. Okay. And we're going to look at the January new moon, which is going to be January 28th. It's going to be at 28 degrees in Capricorn. So each zodiac, which is the outer circle, you see the zodiac signs in the outer circle? Each zodiac is 30 degrees. So when something is at 28 degrees, that's near the end of the zodiac, okay? So you need to know the degrees, you need to know the zodiac. You're going to look at your birth chart. We're looking at mine on the screen right now, and you're going to find out which house contains that zodiac sign and that degree. Okay, what's a house? Go to the middle. It's kind of hard to see with all the green, the red, the purple, and all that. Right in the center, you see the numbers, and they go counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs. Okay. So, January, it's Capricorn. Okay. Where's Capricorn? All right. You see over here, kind of at the 2 o'clock. Look at this like a clock. See over here at like the 2 o'clock area, you see Capricorn? Go inward toward the houses. Ooh, my Capricorn covers a little bit of the seventh house, all of the eighth house, and a little bit of the ninth house. You see that? You see that? Where you see the zodiac signs, you will also see going inward a bunch of dots. Okay? You're going to find 15 dots. Each dot represents 2 degrees. Remember, things go counterclockwise in an astrological um, wheel. So the beginning of Capricorn, the first little dot is in the seventh house. All right, do you see that? I'm putting my arrow there. The first little dot is in the seventh house. The second little dot, which is third and fourth degree, is also in the seventh house. When we get to the third dot, the fifth and sixth degree, I pop over to the eighth house. Well, you keep going, the 28th degree is actually in the ninth house. Okay, remember each dot is 2 degrees. Okay, so when we get to the end of Capricorn, there's only 30 degrees, 15 dots. That 28 degree is actually in my ninth house. Okay, look at page 9. What is ninth house? Study, travel, search for meaning, and understand life. It's higher learning, spirituality, and dreams. So that is the house that the January new moon is going to highlight for me. Okay, so let's say I have a goal to just find more joy and personal connections because I moved to a new area. The January new moon is activating my ninth house. So my goal for January, related to the bigger goal of having more personal connections and joy, could be to set a goal to join a class, join a community, join a group here locally that brings me joy and I'm learning something. But it's bringing me community and it's bringing me joy and I'm learning because this is the learning house. This is the learning house. You see how that works? So what you're going to do is you're going to read the energies of the house. You can even read the astrological sign, Capricorn. You know, what is Capricorn all about? And then before the new moon, you're going to write a little mini goal that relates to your bigger goal. So a little mini goal that is going to work on highlighting that aspect for you. Okay. All right, here, I'm going to stop sharing. So in your workbook, I actually put the astrological chart of the United States. Okay. Born July 4th, 1776. So when you look at Capricorn and 28 degrees, where I put the arrow, that's where it's at. That is where it's at. So we're looking at Oh my gosh, it's so small in my book. I can't even read. Can anybody read the house number? Is that, it looks like it's the second house. It looks like it's the second house. So, for the United States, second house is cash, property, possessions, values, including how you value yourself. Okay, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. So, does that make sense? Okay, question. Should we have a new chart done each year? No, your birth chart is set, literally set in stone. You just do your chart. You're working off of your birth chart, not not a predictive chart for 2026. This is a birth chart. So the link that I gave you, just put in your birthday, month, date, and year. Location is important, and boom, it's gonna print this. This is permanent for you. It's very, very instructive. That's what you're working off of. Okay. Now, you can go ahead and run an astrological chart and hire an astrologer to give you an interpretation of 2026 and each year, kind of like a numerology chart. Absolutely, you can do that. That's totally different than this. Okay, the new moon setting intentions only aligns to your birth chart. Okay, all right. Any questions about that? This is a really fun technique. And here's the thing. I want you to take those new moon dates today, get them in your calendar. Put it in your calendar the day before to go through and figure out, okay, February, where is Aquarius in my birth chart and where's 28 degrees? What house am I in? What does that house mean? What does Aquarius mean? And then you set your little mini goal for that month according to the house that it's highlighting. And that little mini goal is supporting your bigger goal. Okay, you're not going off on a tangent with something else. It's related to your bigger goal. Put it in your calendar the day before. When you do this every month, you are inching closer. You are moving faster toward what you want. You will never get to September and it's like, I don't even remember what my goal was. Or you won't get to like today, December 28th, and it's like, well, I long since gave up. You won't. Because at the December new moon, you will have set a mini goal. This is really important. I cannot stress this enough. This is this is a very important technique to do. Put it in your calendar the day before the new moon so that you can do this. So that on the new moon, you launch your intention. And there's lots of ways to launch intentions. I mean, in the Sacred Shift, I tell you guys how to do it, but you just literally write it out. Write it out. This is my goal for this month. Stick it on your refrigerator. Okay? All right. Any questions about that? Okay. Not seeing any questions. Okay, we are going to go on to, and these were pages to do before coming to class. And it's doing the thought analysis and reframing your thoughts. So, there are times when you're just not pursuing your goals. You're just not doing it. And you may wonder, what's wrong with me? Maybe I just literally have no motivation. Well, if you had no motivation, number one, you wouldn't have a job. Number two, you wouldn't have a roof over your head. Number three, you wouldn't be able to feed yourself. Like you wouldn't be able to do anything. That's not what it is. It's here. It's your thoughts. So if you're chronically not pursuing your goals, and you have legit reasons. Well, Allie, you don't understand. This happened and this happened and this happened. It's time for a thought analysis. This is how I coach. It is very effective for identifying sabotaging. Now, this can be a little challenging to do on yourself, but I encourage you to do it every time you get stuck, every time you stop moving. Okay? Because what you're doing is you're getting to the root of what it is and you're changing it. Just think of it as a new way of working with affirmations. If your thoughts are not supportive of what your goal is, you will have feelings that cause your brain to not do the work. That's why alignment is so important because if you don't want to do it, there is no amount of willpower and self-motivation that's going to make you do it. I've always been a very, very highly self-motivated person, but I remember a really specific time when I was working in DC and my boss gave me a writing project for the Department of Justice, and I loved to write. And this topic was not my wheelhouse. And I looked at him and I said, I'm not doing that. And he's like, yes, you are. We got grant money. You got to do this. And I'm like, I have no desire to do that. And he's like, I don't care what your desire is. And I said, I can guarantee you this is going to be a pile of crap because I don't want to do it. He's like, you're the most motivated person I know. Just do it. I did it. I I didn't I didn't get it done on time. I was like a week late. It was the biggest pile of garbage I've ever written because it was not my thing. And that's the thing. The feelings that I had about it totally sabotaged me. Totally sabotaged me. Now you give me something to do that I'm excited about, bam, I knock it out of the park. I can literally sit down for a weekend. I can write a book. Okay? That's where we're going with this. Now you need to focus on just one thought at a time, unpack it, and reframe it. Page 12 is going to be your best friend. Print out lots of copies, use it frequently, one thought at a time. And you do it when you get stuck. You do it when you start making up all the reasons why you're not doing something, and you go through this process. So, I want you to pick a goal that you had this year that didn't manifest. Preferably one that you didn't even work on. Like pick one that you just crashed and burned on. We all have one. Okay? Pick one that you totally sabotaged and see how your thought about that goal created your feelings that then created non-action, which resulted in the result that you had. Okay? So, for example, if you had a goal to start a passion project, like I am really passionate about, creating a colony of bees in my backyard. Super passionate about that. Like I want to do that, but you didn't do it. So what is the fact? What happened? Like what is a fact? It's not an emotion. The fact is I didn't do it. Okay? I didn't do it. What's the story that you're telling yourself about that? Well, I didn't do it because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Okay? When you don't know what to do about something, what emotion comes up with that? Well, I feel like a failure because there's this thing called the internet and I could literally Google how to create, a little bee sanctuary in my backyard. So I feel like a failure because all the resources are there. I just had to do it, but I didn't. So I feel like a failure. When you feel like a failure, what behavior comes out of that? I found reasons not to get started. I buffered. Every time I thought about it, it's like, oh, I got something else I need to work on. Oh, I'm too busy with this. Oh, I'm going on vacation. You know, oh, it's a Tuesday. I'll start working on it on Saturday. That's buffering. Your brain is trying to protect itself because your brain doesn't like pain. So you found all the reasons to not get started, and then the result is you didn't start your passion project. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to reframe your thoughts. Okay. But you got to unpack. You got to unpack. And the root of that was failure, was failure. So you have to identify, and this is on page 11, the unintentional thoughts. Like you probably didn't realize it was failure, that that's what you were thinking. Or maybe it's shame. You pick one thought, one emotion. You're not going to list a whole bunch of things. And you have to do all the unintentional thoughts. And then you start swapping in intentional positive thoughts. So let's find an intentional positive thought that you actually believe about wanting to create a bee colony in your backyard this spring. What's a good thought that you believe? I'm going to go on the internet. I'm going to research what I need. Like, what supplies do I need? Great. That's a good first step. That's super easy. It'll take you 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. How does that thought make you feel? Excited. Like, I can literally Google and find out how to do this. I'm excited. How does that feeling play out in your actions? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And when I looked it up, it's actually really super easy. It's super easy. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy the stuff so that I'm ready this spring. And then what is your action? You actually go out and you buy the stuff and you're ready to go in the spring and you manifested your goal. So you have to do the unintentional thoughts first, and then you reframe it and you swap in believable intentional thoughts. And I've given you some examples on these pages, but you're going to write it all out on page 12. You're going to write it all out on page 12 and you're going to start flipping the script on your mindset because there's a lot of things that come into play with goal setting. Mindset is not the be all and end all. It is one aspect of it. But you can do all the frequency work that you want. If you have a mindset that is self-sabotaging, frequency doesn't matter. You're not going to pull yourself out of it. So you got to work all of these things together. So you're going to do this when you're stuck, when you're confused about what step to take next, when you're unmotivated. This is one way that you start the alignment process with your goal. All right. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Did anybody do this? Does anybody want to share an aha moment? Like, you don't have to tell us what you wrote, but did anybody do this and have an aha moment when you were working this before the class? If you want to type it in the chat, if you had an aha moment. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes you can sabotage yourself in this process, and if you need coaching, this is what I do. I am trained in a very particular method. And this is what I put people through. I put you through it to help you understand where you're sabotaging. Okay? All right. Okay, I want to go on to the next section, which is page 13, and it works off of this thought analysis, and this is a vibe analysis. So, okay, hold on. I need to smell an oil. I'm going to smell Rise Above. I need I'm gonna raise my vibe. I love that Rise Above oil. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh, that smells so good. All right. And if you have a Lemurian quartz, this is also a good crystal. I'm going to hold my pink Lemurian. This is a good crystal to hold. So, if you have ever uttered the phrase, "This is my reality," then so it is. So it is. Most people set their goals according to the reality, what they see around them. And I will tell you right now, that is a very small box, and that is a very small way of living and manifesting what you want. Because your reality does not have your goal in it. It doesn't. If it did, it wouldn't be your goal because you'd already have it. Your goal is outside the small box of reality. And so people who are setting goals based on reality, they set realistic goals. And if they have a really strong willpower and inner drive, they will work really hard and they will jam that square peg into a round hole and make it happen. Okay, this is what I used to do. It's like I have a goal. I don't care what's in my way. I'm doing it. It's how I got through law school. It's like I'm doing it. Okay. And that worked 10, 20, 30 years ago, but it doesn't work anymore. Energies have changed too much, the energies of our world. Okay. It's exhausting and it's depleting and it doesn't work. Your reality is based on your inner frequency. Your frequency is a lot of different things. It's your frequency comes out as your surroundings, and it comes through in how you go about working on your goals. If you want to change something, you change your frequency. Your thoughts that come from your beliefs are frequency. Your assumptions are false beliefs, they are false thoughts. And those are frequency. Your words, spoken and written, are frequencies based in belief. And all of those create your vibration. Your vibration is your path, it's your timeline, it's your reality. And whether or not you do the work or take the steps, that's your path. And that's why the prior segment on analyzing and reframing your thoughts is important to shifting your frequency, because you manifest who you are. You don't manifest what you want. You don't manifest what you stick on a vision board. You don't even manifest what you write down. Writing it down is a part of the process. You manifest who you are. Your vibe, your vibration, your frequency is what you align to or what you repel. It's picked up by other people, and you can either draw in the right people, the right circumstances, the right situations, or you can repel them. It attracts or it repels. Frequency is everything. Now, here's the thing, you control your frequency. Nobody controls it for you. So this is very empowering. If you're like, this goal, man, it has been evading me for a long time, that's totally in your control. That's totally in your control. It's nobody else's control. Okay? Only you manifest from the frequency of who you are and what you believe. So, put another way, what is the frequency of somebody who has achieved your goal? How are they living their life? Like, what does their life look like? What does their day-to-day look like? How do they walk through life? How do they behave? What are the words that they say? Because that's the vibe that you want. That's what it means acting as if you already have it, like literally living the manifestation of your goal, living as if it's happened. So, for example, if you have a goal to live with deep joy and gratitude, what is the vibe of somebody who embodies that? Are they gossiping? Are they criticizing? Are they judging? Are they behaving harshly? Are they talking about themselves negatively? Are they talking about others negatively? Are they focused on news? Are they using words of lack? Are they saying things like, well, I can't afford that and I can't do that and I don't have time for that and I don't know how to do that? No, a person with a goal to live with deep joy and gratitude doesn't do any of that. They don't do any of that. They go through life and they see opportunities. Like I'm looking outside right now and it is a gray Michigan day, but I'm looking at a forest and it is absolutely gorgeous. That's what they do. They see the opportunities, they see the joy in things, they see gratitude, okay? How are they living their life? What does their day look like? Okay, let's do another example. If someone has a goal to be physically healthy, whatever it may be, maybe they have digestive issues, they have mobility issues, they have pain issues. What is the vibe of somebody who has vibrant health? Are they complaining about their pain? Are they telling everybody about their pain? Are they wasting away on the couch? Are they eating junk food? Are they talking about getting older? No, they're not doing any of that. They're not doing any of that. They are proactive. What are they doing? How are they living their life? How are they going about their day? How are they talking? It's not about faking it until you make it. That doesn't work. Whoever came up with that phrase, hard no, hard no. It's genuinely adopting the lifestyle, the words, the energy, and the frequency of somebody who has manifested your goal. What is it? Okay, that's the stuff that you need to write down. Okay, if you keep setting a goal to lose 30 pounds, but you don't believe that you can because all your family is overweight and you believe that there's an overweight gene that you inherited, which there's not. And you look at all of your past failures and you're not changing what you eat and you're not moving and you just believe like, well, I've tried this before and it doesn't work, but I'm going to set the goal again. I'm going to set the goal again. All of that creates your belief that it's not going to work, and the end result is the behavior of somebody who is never going to lose the weight. Okay, so I want us to take 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes. Do not overthink this, and I want you to fill out page 13. Okay, so if you need to smell an oil and hold a crystal, please go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to time this. We're going to take 5 minutes, fill out page 13, vibe analysis. All right. You can always come back and fill this in, but like I've said before, the information that you get immediately upon asking yourself a question is the truest, most intuitive, aligned information. When you start overanalyzing and questioning, you are in ego. That's why short spurts to just get the information down is the best thing that you can do with this process. And then, based on those quick ideas and those quick thoughts, you can go in and you can fill them in a little bit more. Okay, so this is one that you can keep going back to. But did you were you able to align with the version of you that has manifested your goal? Like the version of the person that has manifested it. Literally how they behave, how they walk through life, how they think, what they do. Were you able to get some clarity on that? Okay. All right, super. Okay. We're going to keep going on that theme and talk about be, do, and have. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to smell highest potential oil. This is a unique way of looking at who you need to be to manifest your goal. Now, oh, that smells good. Rudy, smell. Rudy is always in his highest potential. So, too often we set a goal that is about getting stuff, a certain income, a physical object, even a relationship. But at a soul level, it may not align with what we truly want and what really matters. Or we set goals according to what we think we should do. And that's a lot of societal expectations and programming. And so it may not work because you're not really aligned at a soul level, because we all have a specific reason why we are here at this time, why you are of your age, living in your location at this time. There is a reason. Okay. And when you live from that perspective and you walk through life from that perspective, goals manifest very easily because you are just you. You are you. Nobody can be you, and you can't be anybody else. You have to be you. So most people first focus on, when it comes to goal setting, they focus on what they want to have. Then they focus on what do I need to do to get it? But they don't really ever think about who they need to be in order to manifest it. Manifesting is when you are aligned with what you want. From a genuine soul level, you have the frequency to hold that goal. Okay? It's your vibe, it's who you are. I mean, it kind of comes back to, and we've all heard the stories of people who win these huge lotteries and they literally cannot hold, they are not of the frequency to hold that obscene amount of income. And not only is all the money gone in a year, but they are worse off because they weren't of the frequency to hold it. So you can't manifest an income that you desire if your thoughts are filled with struggling to pay bills, and if your thoughts are filled with, oh my gosh, look at the cost of gas and look at the cost of groceries, you are never going to manifest the income because you're in that lack frequency. So the be in the be, do, and have is about how you will live your life every day. Okay, how will your life align through what you do and what you have? Okay. You can't have a health related goal if you eat junk all day. Okay. Who do you need to be in order to have a health related goal? Okay. The do, those are the action steps that you take that are aligned with who you are, the be, who you need to be. Okay. So, and a lot of you know this, there's a reason that I used to go to Lake Michigan all the time, almost weekly, even through winter, because I wanted my Lake Michigan house, which I am now sitting in, because I was behaving like I already lived there. The be in the be, do, and have, I was being like I already lived here. Once I moved here, like I already knew all the grocery stores, all the restaurants, all the places to hang out, the best beaches where nobody's hanging out at. Because I had been here so much, I literally had integrated into the community. And then the house manifested. So it's important to act as if you have already achieved it. Your values, your gifts, and your strengths also must align with what you want. So here's the thing, we're going to go through this. Do not, again, don't overthink, don't overanalyze, don't choose what society wants for you or what you think is right. I want you to dream. I want you to pretend there's no barriers at all. There's no time barriers, there's no physical barriers, there's no financial barriers. Do not let reality put you in a small box. If you can dream it and see it, you will know what steps to take. So we're going to take 5 minutes and I want you to write down on page 14 all the steps. Okay. I want you to write down the first thing that comes to mind. 5 minutes for this page. And does it feel good? Does it conjure up excitement and eagerness, or does it create tension like, ugh? Okay, if not, dig deeper. Okay, we are looking for things that you're excited about. Okay, if you could be anything, who would you be? If you could do anything, what would you do? If you could have anything, what would you have? What are your values? What are your gifts? What are your strengths? Do not overthink it. Okay, smell your highest potential, or a nandolite or demoterite is a good crystal if you want to hold a crystal while you're doing this. Okay, let's go ahead and work on this. Okay. We're going to take information from that page, page 14, and I want you to go to page 3, my 2026 vision, and we're going to write out our theme for 2026. And you're going to be working off of the information that you just wrote on page 14. So I want you to just close your eyes. I just want you to just kind of quiet your mind. If you want to smell an oil, the awaken blend, the inspiration blend, these are good ones to work with. And I want you to really focus on what is your theme? This is your driving theme for 2026. And on page 3, I want you to write it as if it's already happened. As if we're sitting together over New Year's Eve drinks, this time in 2026, and you are telling me this happened. This is who I became first and foremost. Based on that, this is what I did that was different for my goal. And based on how I behaved and did things differently, this is what I got. Okay, you're going to merge it with your word of the year, your values, your strengths. Write it as if it's already come true. And you and I are sitting together over hot chocolate or a martini, and you're literally telling me this. And you're like, holy crap, Allie, it really worked. This is who I became. This is what I did. And this is what happened. Okay. When you write your theme, write it in the present tense. Put emotion behind it. Okay. We're going to spend 5 minutes doing this. Actually, we're going to spend 3 minutes. Don't overthink it. All right. Hopefully, this is starting to pull some clarity together for you. But all of this is shifting you into the frequency and aligning you that your goals already happened. Okay? Step by step, we're putting the puzzle together. All right. All right, before we go on to page 15, Christy, I saw your question in the comment about, I think you were asking about the astrology chart. I put the link in there. And when you run your chart, scroll to the very bottom and you're going to see the astrological wheel. Okay. Hopefully that's what you were asking. If not, let me let me know. Okay, very good. Okay. All right, we're going to go on to page 15. And this is a really powerful technique. And maybe you've done this before. Maybe you've read the book Finding Your Why by Simon Sinek. Okay, let's smell some frankincense oil. The frankincense oil is so powerful for this. If you have frankincense, just bring it out. Bring it out. So, I mean, if you've ever struggled staying consistent in pursuing a goal, if life gets in the way, and I don't mean to make fun of that because things happen, but when you have a really strong why, even when there's chaos, even when there is struggle, you still do things. You still do things to help you stay aligned with your goal. And it comes down to two things: having a strong why and making a pledge to yourself that you will not quit. And that comes from good habits. Okay. You can't have good habits if you don't have a strong why. Goals do not have a magic start or expiration date, but I see a lot of people giving up. Like they set a goal for the month, and then it comes to like the 18th of the month, and they're like, oh, I haven't done anything. You know what? I'll start again the first of the month. What's magical about the first of the month? Having a strong why will keep you working on your goal daily, even when life around you is difficult, challenging, chaotic, and really pushing you and stretching you. And I want you to think about it this way. When you have a goal that you're really passionate about, like you know you're aligned with it, and then there's outside things happening that are pulling on your time, what if that's a test to see, do you really want it? What if that's a test? Energies test us all the time. Okay. So right now, all over social media, everybody is talking about New Year's resolutions and 2026 is going to be amazing and I'm going to crush it. And it's like, yeah, did you crush 2025? Did you really? Did you crush 2024? Did you really? There's a I need you to drown out all of that white noise. All of that white noise because those are methods of not alignment, of just jamming a square peg into a round hole. They just are. We have been taught to believe that the new year is only going to bring good things, and all of the struggles and the negative beliefs and the sabotaging mindset are going to mysteriously disappear at the stroke of midnight. No, no. You will take your beliefs, your mindset, your frequency that you have right now, you're going to take it into 2026 unless you look at it and do something about it. And that's why I'm glad you all are here because you're looking at it. You're doing something about it. All the other people I'm seeing on social media, it's like, oh, this hurts my brain. Like, ugh, it hurts my brain. When when you research successful people, and I'm not talking monetarily or with career or with accolades, but just people who manifest what the life that they want. They keep going through adversity because they have a commitment to their goals, because they know why they have that goal. Their goal is literally who they are. They are in alignment. So if you find that outside influences life and self-sabotaging through your thoughts are are going after your goals every day and making it a struggle, doing this exercise is going to help you find your inner strength and the perseverance to align with your goals. Because this is just very powerful to do this. So I'm going to guide you through this. And again, you're going to write down the first thing that comes to mind. I'm not going to let you overanalyze. We're going to move through this, okay? Okay. If you need frankincense oil, grab your bottle and start snorting, okay? So we're going to start on page 16. And if you have frankincense oil, put a drop on your third eye. You can smell it. Okay. Oh, that smells good. All right. I want you to close your eyes. Okay. We are asking to connect to universal energies, to God, to source, to angels, to spirit guides. Thank you for this opportunity to receive guidance and unveil our true driving force for our soul purpose on earth, our why. We are open to your answers and guidance on this journey. Okay, I want you to quiet your mind. Taking a deep breath. Exhale. Take in another deep breath. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. I want you to ask yourself, what is my number one goal I want to manifest this coming year? Write down your answer very succinctly, very short, with as much clarity as you can. What is my number one goal I want to manifest in 2026? Now I want you to ask yourself, why is that my goal? It should be one sentence. Write it down. Don't overthink it. Write the first thing that comes to your mind. Why is this my goal? You're going to write it under number 2. Now, under number 3, I want you to ask yourself a why question based on the answer in number 2. So I want you to look at number 2 and ask yourself, why is, and then read the answer in number 2. Why is, read the answer in number 2. Write that question down and write your answer to that why question. All right, we're going to move to page 17 under number 4. And I realize in these questions the numbers are off a little bit. Um, so under number 4, I want you to ask yourself a why question based on the answer to number 3. Okay, so you need to correct that. I just realized that number is off. So under number 4, ask yourself a why question based on your answer in number 3. So why is, and then put your answer from number 3, and I want you to answer that. Why is the answer in number 3? Why? Why is that important? Moving on to number 5, ask yourself a why question based on your answer in number 4. Do not overthink this. This is the first thing that comes to your mind. Smell your frankincense oil if you need to open up more in order to hear the answer. Now we're moving on to number 6. Ask yourself a why question based on your answer to number 5. And now moving on to number 7, ask yourself another why question based on your answer to number 6. All right, now we're going to compare our initial y to the final y. So I want you to write your initial y, which is in answer number 2. I want you to write that down under let's reflect, and then write down the y that you wrote in answer number 7, and I want you to compare. Because the more you do this Y exercise, the more you drill into it, you could keep going. We did 6 layers of Y. Usually I do 7, but sometimes you find the answer within 2 or 3 layers. If it takes more than 7, you got to get a little more honest with yourself. But I want you to look at the difference between your initial Y and the final Y. And then list 3 ways of knowing your true why is going to help you stay committed to your goal. Now, if you struggled with this exercise, just keep practicing it. Keep practicing it. This is where all the work that we've done so far in this class is getting you frequency ready for this. And listening to your intuition, you have to listen. You're getting the answers. You're getting the answers. So just keep practicing. But I'd love to know in the chat, did everyone have a change from, did you have a change from your initial why to that final why? Like, do you feel that you need to keep going? Like, could you do a couple more steps and dig even deeper? Or do you feel that you got to your real why? Okay. Seeing yeses here. Yeah, this is very, very powerful to do. Okay. You see a small change, but a similar theme. Well, only you can say whether that's okay. I would keep going deeper. You know, the deeper you go, the more emotional you're going to feel about the why. If you're not feeling any emotion, like if you're just writing down the answer, you got to go deeper. You got to go deeper because there is if you're truly aligned with a goal, it's heart-centered. It is very emotional. I'm not saying you're going to have a meltdown and cry. Some people say, you know, when you reach your why, you cry. I don't cry. But I feel the emotion. And a lot of times it's excitement. It's like euphoria. So the people who say, you know, your why is your cry. No, no, it's not. It's not. But it's a feeling. It triggers a feeling and it's noticeable. So this is not like a stoic, methodical thought process. You're getting into heart chakra energy. You're getting into soul alignment. So yeah, you could certainly keep working with it, but it's going to trigger an emotion. Okay? And only you will know the emotion. It's not for me to tell you what it is. Okay. All right. Okay, let's take a 5-minute stretch break, okay? right, let's keep plugging away. We have done a lot of work, but we still have some more to go. All right. How you guys doing? Hanging in there? You getting clarity? So don't be surprised if you get to the end of this and your primary goal shifts a little or even just outright changes. And that's the point. That's the point because sometimes we need to go through this to realize, that goal I've had for many years, I'm really not aligned with it anymore. I was just setting it as a goal because darn it, I just wanted to achieve it. And it just became an obligation. It just became something to check off the list. So don't be surprised if things change. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, so we are on page 19 about building my vision. So there's a lot of reasons why goals may not manifest, but one is that we sabotage them. It's not conscious. We are not actively saying, you know what? I'm going to destroy that goal. I'm going to do everything to make it not happen. We don't do that. It's subconscious, it's energetic. Okay, because we're not aligned with it. So let's see where you are with your primary goal, whether it's a green light, a yellow light, or a red light. So I want you to close your eyes. If you need an oil, Valor might be a good oil. Sometimes we need a little liquid courage. Or if you have a Demodorite crystal, that's a crystal of courage. Okay. I don't want you to think about your goal for 2026. I want you to think about a goal that you had this year that didn't manifest. Okay. I want you to think, close your eyes, and I want you to ask yourself, why did this goal not manifest? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Did you need to change habits, like what you were doing? Did you need to change your thoughts, your frequency, like who you were being? Did you allow other things to get in the way of it? And how do you feel about that now? If that was a goal that you set a year ago, how do you feel about it now? I don't want anybody feeling disappointment, but if you're like, ugh, I just didn't do it. I just didn't do it. I want us to now do this with our 2026 vision. Okay, so I want you to go through page 19 and I'm going to give us like 5 to 7 minutes. Again, I want you to write down the first thing that comes to your mind. We are not getting into analysis paralysis at all. We are not overthinking this. We are not second guessing. We are not dismissing anything that comes to mind. Ask yourself these questions. I want you to go through the red light, the yellow light, the green light, and then answer the questions at the bottom and do it like that. Okay? I want you to do it. Let your intuition literally speak through your pen to the paper. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay. Now, here's the thing about this exercise. That question at the bottom on whether you're on fire about your goal, it'll show up in in the be and the do and the have. It'll show up in how you change as a person to live as somebody and behave as somebody and have the habits of somebody that has already manifested your goal. And so if you notice as we go into the year that you're not on fire anymore, this could mean a reassessment of your goal. So this particular exercise can be very eye-opening and help you release something. Because if you're aligned with a goal, that inner fire is always there, like a pilot light. It's always there. It's always on. Sometimes it's super strong, other times it's a little weaker if you're working on something else, but it's always there. If it completely extinguishes, if you're not on fire about it anymore, you're not aligned with the goal, and you're probably not meant to be. That's the thing. It's okay to let goals go by the wayside because they were never meant to be. They were never meant to be. So that can be one of the hardest parts about goal setting is letting something go. So, been there, done that, but once you do, your glass is a little more empty and you can fill it with something. So hopefully that was eye-opening for you. Okay, we are going on to page 20 because we need good habits. We can't be on autopilot. Okay, we can't be on autopilot. We have to have good habits because no one can achieve your goal for you. You have to have that internal fire, that self motivation. No one can motivate you outside of yourself. Going and seeing motivational speakers are all fine and dandy, but that motivation fades the next day. There's nothing that I can say to motivate you. I can give you I can give you all the tools, but you need that inner fire. You need the self-motivation. And when you are aligned with your goal, like, yes, this is something that I am meant to achieve, that I am meant to change into, this is my frequency, you won't stop trying at all. You won't stop. I mean, many of you know how long it took for me to manifest this house that I am now living in. Because I didn't give up, because I know it was meant to be. I had to wait for the frequencies and everything to align for it to happen, but I stayed laser focused on it. Now, we all have bad habits. We all do. But are your bad habits blocking your goal? Okay? If you keep doing the same thing day after day, month after month, year after year, or doing nothing, you can't expect a goal to manifest. It just energetically and realistically, it's not. A goal requires a change in something, a change in your frequency, a change in your mindset, a change in your habits, which means you have to release something to make the space for it. Or you just need to change what you're doing if you know that you have a habit that's blocking. If you stay in the same frequency, you can't expect a different result. But our brain is really hardwired to resist change because change potentially means pain. That's what the brain thinks. This is subconscious. Your brain is hardwired to avoid pain. and change is seen as pain. So I want you to think as habits, as little mini steps toward your goal that you want to take every day. Okay, please do not set a habit that you don't want to do. Don't do it because you won't. I mean, you're already defeating yourself right out of the gate. So if you want to be in better physical shape, but the thought of joining a gym makes you want to claw yourself, like, ew, no, I'm not a gym person. I don't want to go to a gym. Do not put that down as a habit. Don't let all the ads on TV starting January 1st, free enrollment, get your first month free. No, that's not an alignment. Okay? These habits that you're going to pick are things that you want to do. Because if you don't do them, you're not going to work toward your goal. I mean, if you want to get from your car to the grocery store, first of all, you have to get in your car, you have to turn it on, you have to hit the gas pedal, you have to drive to the grocery store, and then you got to get out of your car and walk into the grocery store. If you're committed to go grocery shopping, you're going to do that. You're not just going to sit at home and say, think I'm going to make a vision board that I want a salad. Okay? Like you're not going to do that. Okay? You're going to do. And that's what you need to do with your goals. The things that you're willing to do, the little steps that you're willing to take. And this is where we're going to do this work. Because your habits come from your beliefs. When you are aligned with a goal, you can create habits that will inch you step by step closer. And like I said, the habits need to be the things that you want to do, that you're excited to do. The story I told you about my boss who wanted me to write this Department of Justice booklet on a topic that I was not passionate about, that was not my specialty. And yeah, I could write it. I didn't want to. I dragged my feet. Okay, you all know me. I'm not a foot dragger. I don't do that. I dragged my feet. It's like, oh God, I don't want to do this. You need to create habits that you want to do, that are joyful, where you're excited to do them. If you are creating a habit out of obligation, you will not keep it. It's why most people forgo their goals for the year 6 weeks into the year because they've done it out of obligation. They are not aligned at all with the goal. And so all the habits leading to the goal are obligation. So working on your why and everything that we have talked about is part of this process. It's making sure that this is a goal that you really want, because if you want it, you're going to go for it every day. So a habit you may need to work on first is your frequency, to elevate out of bad habits, to elevate out of obligation, to elevate out of what you believe is needed to achieve the goal. So if you have a physical health goal, like I want to exercise more, and you don't want to go to the gym, you need to get out of that brainwashing that the only way that you can get physically healthy is if you go to the gym. That's programming. Get out of that programming and start thinking, what can I do that I will love? What is it that I will love? And you release all the past programming and be open to something new. And you may come up with the idea, I like roller skating. I want to join a roller derby. I mean, it could be something like that. I'm not telling you you should do that, but it could be something like that because you let go of what society programs us to believe about physical health, emotional health, how you should run your business. Should you have a business? What your income should be, what your level of joy should be, what your relationship should be. Ditch it all. Come up with what is good for you. Okay. Now, another thing to do as part of this creating good habits, please give yourself white space in your calendar to just vibe out, to figure out what you really want. Take the pressure off of yourself. Put white space in your calendar. If you are scheduled all day, every day, you're not going to figure it out. You're literally not giving yourself the downtime to do this. Okay. So as you create new habits, focus on habits where you feel excited, you feel passionate about them, because then you're going to do them. So if a gratitude practice in the morning doesn't excite you, don't do it. Don't do it. If instead stretching in the morning as you listen to solfeggio frequency music, if that excites you, do that. You know, we all have reasons for why we don't do things, but look at those reasons and if they are standing in between your goal. Okay, a lot of the things that I hear are, well, I fell off the wagon. I'll restart next month or I'll restart on Monday. There's no magic bullet in that. Okay, start immediately. Or sometimes we say, I'm tired or I'm busy or the kids, the pets, my parents need my attention. I don't feel well. I'm lethargic. I'm sick. I'm on vacation. It's a holiday. Excuses just kill our goals. But commitment and your why and having good habits eat those excuses for breakfast. So, what I want you to do is go through page 20. Okay, we're going to spend 5 minutes on this. And, only you can pull yourself out of being stuck. Okay, yes, you can read an uplifting book, you can listen to uplifting podcasts. Um, But creating good habits, that's in your control. Okay. The inner voice of negative thoughts can stop you. But when you are working on good habits and letting go of something that is not a good habit, I don't want it to feel like deprivation. You need to be excited about it. When people create goals and then have to go through deprivation in order to achieve it, they won't. If it's a health goal and you deprive yourself of what you want to eat, you will not keep with that habit. If it's an exercise goal and you're depriving yourself of something, you're not going to do it. Okay. So having the space, if you can do it every day, to really focus on what is most important for you, that is going to be really important. And that can be an important habit that you're going to give yourself space every day. I'm not saying nobody wants to wake up early before they go to a job to do something. You're never going to do it. So everybody that says, wake up 30 minutes early and do this and do that, you don't do it. So what can you do daily that is a habit that you want to do that can move you toward your goal? Let's take 5 minutes and fill out page 20. All right. Hopefully that was informative, but I really want to impress that having white space in your calendar every day, if not every week, is probably a good mini goal that is going to work on the inner voice, the negative beliefs, the self-sabotaging, the not taking the actions. When we are overcommitted, it's exhausting. I mean, it just is. It's exhausting. So when you think about a goal, it's like, ugh, I just don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. I may want this goal. I may be totally soul aligned with it, but ugh, I don't have it in me. This busyness, hustle culture that went away for a while post COVID, it's creeping back in and hard no, hard no. We cannot let that creep back in. So a good mini goal could be the habit of saying no. No, I don't want to join that committee. No, I don't want to do that. Thank you for the invitation. No. I can personally tell you the more white space I put in my calendar, the better I do across the board on everything, the faster I get goals accomplished with far less time working on them because it's all energetic. So consider that as one of your habits is finding a way to have nothing on the calendar during certain times of the day or certain days of the week, like nothing on the calendar, and literally just let yourself do what you want to do or be. Give yourself the downtime to focus on this stuff, to focus on it. It really will change. It'll change a lot for you. Okay, let's go to page 21 and talk about a daily routine. So, I totally get it. Not everybody is a morning person, but having routines can really set the energy up for your day. So, a morning routine can set you for the day, and an evening routine can help you not only assess the day, but set you up for the next day. Now, like I just said a couple of minutes ago, no one wants to wake up early in order to have a routine. So get that out of your head. No one's waking up early. That's a hard no. Okay. But what can you do in the morning to set your energy and your intentions for the day that align with your goal? Little mini things. Here's the thing. If you go about your day, you wake up, you leave your house to go to work, or maybe you work from home. If you don't set your energy and set your intentions for how you want your day to go, your day will bat you around like a pinball in the pinball machine of life. You will have no control. You will feel like everybody else's problems became your problems. I mean, you are basically a sailboat out on Lake Michigan with no sails. You are just going everywhere and you have no control. So, what can you do? Yeah, I've seen the comments. Yes, that's my day every day. Yeah, because you're not in control of your energy. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what's going on with other people. You, you and me, we're in control of our energy. And if you're not in control of it, then other people are, and other people are chaos. They're chaos. So, what would you be excited to do every morning to set your energy? What is a routine that you're like, yep, if I don't do this, I feel off? That's the test. If I don't do it, I feel off. Okay. I'll tell you one thing for me, morning coffee. Now, I don't need caffeine. I primarily drink decaf. It is that morning ritual, even in the summer, hot cup of coffee. That just sets my energy. It is such a ritual. It has zero to do with coffee. It's the ritual of it. It's just cozy and comforting. And that sets my energy for the day. And everybody else can be a hot mess. And I am just full of comfort and cozy. And it's like little things like that. I also do my essential oils. If I do not smell or put oils on, ugh, you stay away from me for your safety. I got to get the oils on. I also like to draw cards. Now, some days I don't draw cards, but there are certain things to do every day. Okay. So what is it? We're going to work on this. What is it that you want to do? That maybe it takes 1 minute, but you are setting your energy for the day. Now, another thing that I do is I get what I call my most important task. I get it out of the way right away because my energy is better in the morning. So if I have something big to do, I'm getting it done. I'm getting it done in the morning. For you, it may be in the evening, it may be mid-afternoon. But when you get into a routine and it directly relates to your goal, you are deciding how your day goes. You are in control of your day. You are in control of your energy. You are in control of your frequency. And remember, your frequency is your reality and whether you manifest your goal. So, what morning routine do you have right now? You wake up, do you shower, do you brush your teeth, do you eat breakfast, do you take vitamins and supplements, do you oil up? What works for you to set your energy? The most successful people have written books about how they have a routine, even on their birthday, even on holidays, even when they're sick. It's part of who they are. They do the same thing. And it comes down to this. It comes down to the concept of compounding energy. It's like compounding interest. A penny that doubles every day and compounds every day for 31 days results in $10.6 million. But a penny that doubles every other day is $163.84. Okay. So if you stop even just one day, it's Rudy, down you go. If you stop even just one day, it's harder to get going. It's harder to start the engine. But you have to want to do it. Like it needs to bring you joy. Something that is setting your frequency, because remember, your frequency is directly related to your goal. Okay. Same thing in the evening. Something that sets your energy to just reflect on the day or take care of yourself. So let's spend a couple of minutes and first thing that comes to mind that you want to do, not out of obligation, not, oh, I need to do this or I should do this. Take the should word out of your vocabulary. Anytime you start a sentence with I should, that is a hard no. No. Okay? Take should out of your vocabulary, take try out of your vocabulary, and things are going to change in 2026. What feels good? What are you like, ooh, I can't wait to wake up because I get to do this. Let's spend a couple of minutes and work on that. I'm going to smell the highest potential oil as I'm doing this. Now you can take these routines, and it could just be one thing in the morning, one thing in the evening. This does not need to be an 89 point plan. Okay, that's too much. But if there's something that you're like, yeah, I'd be really excited to do this, on page 3, under this is energetically how I will live my day-to-day life in 2026, put that routine there so that you see it. Okay. All right. Let's go to page 2022. And I want to talk about the vibrational frequency of words and why mantras can really help you. All right, if you have the abundance oil, let's smell the abundance oil. I'll tell you this oil, put it on the bottom of your feet every day, and you will walk through your day with an abundant mindset. And abundance does not mean money, it just means looking at things like opportunity, um, abundant health, abundant relationships, abundant ideas. So, words matter. Your words are your frequency being heard not only by others, but being heard by your ears. So the words that you speak and write are a reflection of your thoughts that come from your beliefs. Okay, your words are literally telling you and the world what your operating frequency is. Are you operating from abundance or from lack? It's one of those two, and then all sorts of things kind of snake out from those. But your words will impact your goal. Your words cast an order. They place an order with the universal energies that's going to arrive like an Amazon package. So you need to really monitor your words. I remember when I first started monitoring my words, this was back in 2005. Oh my gosh. I remember telling my coworkers, I'm like, we're all going to die because of our words, because of the things that we say in the workplace. I mean, yes, I was working with a bunch of prosecutors, and it's like our words were not good or healthy. It's like we're gonna die. So for you, it's not going to be like that. But recognize that once you speak or write something, you can't take it back. I mean, you can override it, but you can't really take it back. It's like dropping a rock in a lake. There's the wave. Now you could drop a bigger rock to overtake that wave. So all you can really do is drop another rock to counteract it. This takes time, it takes patience, and it will become a habit. Because if you're not in control of your words and the tone of your words, everything will continue to feel like a struggle. And you're manifesting all day long. You're just not manifesting what you want. And this is where daily mantras or affirmations can rewire your neural pathways and rewire your beliefs and your words and your frequency. But they only work if you believe them and if you feel the emotion behind what you're saying is actually true. Okay, so if you want to change the frequency and change your neural pathways, do this daily. And so what I want you to do is just come up with a list of your own mantras that you believe right now that relate to your goal. I've given you some mantras to consider just to see how they're worded because number one, you have to believe them and you have to feel them emotionally. You're not just like a robot saying them. That doesn't work. So you have to believe and feel them, but it's also how they are worded. So you want to avoid words like I wish, I want, I desire, I need. Because that will keep you in the energy of wishing, wanting, desiring, and needing. Those are not manifesting. So, starting it with I am so that you are embodying this mantra, or I am becoming if just I am doesn't feel genuine or real. Um, so, this is something to work on after the class, but even if it's just one mantra, write it out, stick it on your bathroom mirror. Or I have a mantra that is on the screen of my phone. So every time I open up my phone, it's there. And mine says, Dear universe, who do I need to become to dot, dot, dot. And I'll tell you, my brain instantly fills it in. This goes back to the be, do, have. Who do I need to become to? My brain instantly comes up with the dot, dot, dot every time I open my phone. So come up with a mantra that you can say over and over and over again, and you're rewiring your neural pathways, which in turn changes your frequency. Because when you change your frequency, you can align with something that you don't have right now in the frequency that you have right now. Okay, is this making sense of how this is all piecing together? Okay. All right, let's go to page 23. This is fun. Okay, this is fun. We're going to take a little time and we're actually going to work through this. If you have the Believe oil, let's smell the Believe oil. If you have a labradorite crystal, this would be a good one to hold in your hand. And I want to talk to you about scripting. So, oh, that smells so good. So, scripting is a very powerful technique because once you are laser clear on your goal and you are clear on how you will feel embodying that goal, like being the person that has manifested that goal, living that goal, what your life will look like when the goal is manifested, When you script, you invoke all your senses. Scripting activates the law of assumption. It's a universal law that tells us that to live, that we need to live as if we've already manifested it. So y'all know I drove here to Lake Michigan all the time. I behaved like I lived here, and now I do. Now I do. Because my goal when I first said it was so unimaginable. It was so out of reach, so out of reach. It just wasn't simply moving. It was moving without a mortgage. It's like, I'm never going to achieve that in my lifetime. Oh, okay, Allie, if you're never going to achieve it in your lifetime, your wish is granted. I had to script. I had to engage the law of assumption. I had to defy reality. And because it was a lot of reality to unwire and reframe, it took a while, but it happened. So it can happen, and I want you to know that. I want you to know that. When you play a movie in your mind with all the feels and all of the senses, you can hear it, you can see it, you can feel it, your brain acknowledges that movie as real. It does. Your brain does not differentiate between what you are really seeing and what you are make-believing. So when you are doing this, you are feeling the emotion of accomplishment. How are you celebrating? Like, play it like a movie. Play it like a movie, the things that you do, all the steps. And that's where a lot of vision boards go awry because they focus on the end result. They don't focus on all the steps to get there. You need to enjoy the journey. Okay? So the law of assumption is play the journey, enjoy the journey, as well as the end accomplishment and the celebration. So I've given you some prompting questions. We're going to take 5 minutes. Do not overthink it. And I want you to write out and feel what it is like that you've achieved your goal. Okay? I want you to work on this more in the coming days and really focus on how you feel. And I want you to play that movie because you are getting into the vibration and the law of assumption. Because you cannot achieve the frequency of a goal when you are not of that frequency, when you don't believe it, when you can't even play it out. This is what it means when people say act as if you've already achieved it. Okay? Let's take 5 minutes and let's work on page 23. All right, how did that feel? Scripting your goal. How did that feel? Did it come easy to write the script? If it flowed and it felt easy, you're in alignment. If you struggled with it, all of this is going to help to make it easier. So in the comments, I'd love to see how this technique went. I love scripting. It's such a cool technique. Grounding. Awesome. Definitely flowing. Good. You're on fire. Good. And that's like how you feel. Imagine you keep doing this. What if this was a new habit? And maybe every Sunday morning you scripted. See, you can take these techniques and create habits. This is all very fluid. I'm giving you a buffet. You can do what you want, but you can turn these into habits. Yeah, I love seeing this. Energized, felt aligned, words came easily, flowed freely to paper. These are all good things. When you are doing things that feel good, you are more likely to do them. You're going to crave doing it. So maybe you want to go back to page 20 and 21 with your good habits and your routine and maybe put scripting in. You don't have to script every day. I mean, even once a week would be great. Heck, even once a month. Maybe the day before the new moon that you are working on your new moon goal, you also script. See how this is all starting to fit together? There is a method to the madness here. All right. All right. All right. Good. Oh, I'm so glad that this is helpful. Awesome. Okay, we are going to go to pages 24 and 25, and I know some of you already understand the power of the 369 because you learned it in my crystal classes. All right, if you have Magnify Your Purpose oil, you could smell that as I talk about this. If you have a green aventurine crystal, you could hold it. All right, I love 369, and there is no one way to do this, but oh, that's good stuff. Okay, let me explain what this is for those of you who haven't heard about it. Now, there is also a book that you can buy called Project 369, and it goes into great detail, and it's also like a journal that you can work in. Project 369. Okay, so the short story of 369 and how you can work this for your goal. Nikola Tesla, many, 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 many years ago, when he was alive, discovered the magic in these numbers. He discovered that they are not rooted in physicality. Okay, we're getting into quantum math. I'm going to keep this as simple as I can. He discovered that when living organisms, living cells multiply and multiply and multiply and multiply and create a human, an animal, a plant, create a living organism, the expanding numbers never root down to the single digit of 3, 6, or 9, ever, 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 ever. So when you start with 1 and you add it to 1, you come up with 2. You add 2 and 2, it's 4. You add 4 and 4, it's 8. You add 8 and 8, it's 16. That's a double digit. You got to root down to a single digit. What is 16? Just like in numerology, 1 plus 6 is 7. 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 is 3 plus 2 is 5. You keep going. 32 plus 32 is 64. 64 plus 64 is what? 128. And you keep rooting down to a single digit. You will never find 3, 6, or 9. Ever. And then he did the same thing looking at the diameter of the Earth, the diameter of the moon and the sun, the distance from the moon to the Earth. And I mean, all of these like energetic things that are in our world, the magical things, the energetic things, root down to 3, 6, or 9. If you're familiar with the solfeggio frequencies, go look at those frequencies, root down the number, and they will always be a 3, 6, or 9 because they're energetic. Okay? That's the short story. This also explains why in the healing world, healers work in patterns of 3, yet they have no idea why. And I was one of those. And I discovered this 2 years ago. So I went like 15 years in all my healing training, and no one could ever explain to me why we did things in patterns of 3. And it's because of this. It's energetic. We are tapping into the quantum field. The quantum field is where everything is. You just have to be the frequency, like the radio frequency, that you align with it, and bam. Okay? That's the short story. Okay. When you tap into 369, you are working energetically with your goals and intentions. It is not conscious jamming a square peg into a round hole. You are getting into energy, you are getting into frequency. Okay, so what I would recommend, and again, you can add this to good daily habits, maybe a weekly habit. You can add it to a morning routine, an evening routine. You figure out what works for you and whether this is joyful, whether you're going to do it. But I would give it a try for at least 7 days. If you can go 30 days, that's awesome. But at least 7 days, just try this. Okay. What you're going to do, and you can do this all different ways, but one of the easiest things to do is to take your goal in the morning, write your goal 3 times. So you're going to print these pages, or you can have a notebook. Write your goal 3 times because by now you may have really refined your initial goal. You may be going back to page 3 and rewriting your goal. You're going to write it down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. And the reason that we handwrite, and we're not doing this on the computer, it has a frequency. When you are moving your hand, you're thinking it, that's a frequency. You could even say it out loud as you're writing it, and that's another frequency. Okay, so right now, I want you to take your goal as you have it right now and just write it 3 times. Okay, on page 24. Oh, Rose, I see in the comments you've been smelling your oil 3 times. Yeah, we do things instinctively, intuitively in patterns of 3. And yeah, for so long, we didn't know why. We didn't know why. Nikola Tesla figured it out. We're already tapping into energy. Okay, write your goal out 3 times. And then later today, later this afternoon, write it 6 times. And then after dinner, write it 9 times. And then you can figure out whatever schedule you want with this. But I would really recommend that you give this a try for a week and watch what happens. So this is a technique that you can just tweak and make it what you want. You may ultimately have three goals for 2026. So you could write out the three goals 6 times each, and then say each of the three goals 9 times, like verbally. See how you can tweak it? But that book, Project 369, oh my gosh. It's like it's the information in there is just amazing. Amazing. Okay, we are coming to a close. We have two more things to do, and then we are done. All right, let's go to page 26 and 27. This 90-day goal process is something that I paid a lot of money to join a program that taught me this. And I started doing this, and oh my gosh, once you do this, it becomes a habit. You don't even have to think about it. This is really, really powerful. If you struggle with what you need to do for your goal, like the steps that you need to take, what are the things to do every day, the little tiny things? I would encourage you to do this faithfully. And you're doing this in 90-day increments. So every season you could do it at fill this out at the winter solstice, the spring equinox, the summer solstice, the fall equinox, or January 1st, April 1st, July 1st. You can figure it out. It teaches you to take your goal and break it down into, first and foremost, projects. These are major tasks. And you notice there's three of everything because we're tapping into 369. So take your goal. What are three big things that must happen in order for the goal to manifest? That absolutely it's got to happen. Those are the big projects. Okay. Once you have that listed, what are the little mini steps, the tasks that must happen in order for that project to be completed? Now, it may not be three things. It could be one thing, it could be two things, it could be five things. But what are the things when you break it down that if you did those things, that project would be complete? And then you have a big check mark on your to-do list for your goal. This helps you know exactly what to do and to put on, your daily to-do list, your weekly to-do list. Like if you don't have a planner, and it can simply be just a simple calendar where you write down, I need to do this week, and then you just do it sometime during the week. It doesn't have to be complicated. Believe me, there are a lot of complicated planners out there. I have worked with most of them, and I just work with something very simple, and it works for me. But I know what to put on my to-do list because if you don't have enough white space in your calendar, you probably think you're working on your goal, but you're really not because you haven't given yourself the time to really think, what do I need to do? Because this isn't about just sitting back and smelling oils and holding crystals and, praying. You have to take inspired action, not obligated action, not action that doesn't feel right. Like you're inspired, like, yeah, I need to do this. What are those things that you need to do? It helps you get really precise. And when you write it down, you're literally placing an order to align with that goal. So as you're writing down the tasks and the things that you need to do, you're going to know if it feels good. If there's a task and you're like, I'm not going to do that, then don't put it down. it helps you get really, really super clear. And energies love clarity. It's going to help you get clear. Okay. So I've given you an example and I want you to start sketching this out. You're going to fill this in more. This is your operating system. This is your calendar. Okay. So this can literally be printed out and you can paste it on a wall. You can put it in your calendar. I want you to be looking at this because it's going to tell you how to fill in your time so that you're really efficient in what you're doing. Because goals that are aligned move faster, they feel efficient when you really get into alignment with them. So I've given you an example on page 27. Like if you're setting a goal, because you know you need to shift your mindset, you need to shift your frequency. There's no point in setting a goal to accomplish something or get something if your frequency is all messed up. And you want to really shift so that you see abundance and you see opportunities rather than see lack and see all the reasons why you can't do something or shouldn't do something. So what are your projects? Maybe you decide I need a daily meditation practice, and it's not begrudgingly. Like, I want to do this. I need to quiet my mind. I want that time. Fantastic. What's another project? I need to monitor my words because they're coming from my thoughts and beliefs. So I need to monitor them. Great. What's another project? Maybe a daily gratitude practice. Great. These are three really big things that can shift you. Now, within each, what do you need to do? To have a meditation practice that you're actually going to do, what do you need to do? Well, I need the best time of day to do it. And everybody says do it in the morning, but morning doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Right before dinner works for me. Fantastic. Put that on the task list. What do you want it to look like? Well, everybody says, you just need to quiet your mind, and I don't know how to do that. Okay, then don't do that. Maybe walking meditation. Maybe gazing into crystals. Maybe you're smelling essential oils. Maybe you're swimming. Maybe you're running. Okay, you don't have to sit cross-legged like a monk. What does it physically look like? And then schedule it. You see how those tasks work? So you're doing things that feel right. You're going to do them. Don't do what everybody else says. Okay, do what works for you. All right, I want you to take 5 minutes and just right off the top of your head, at least sketch in on page 26 the projects. If you can come up with three, that's great. Maybe you only have two main things that need to be accomplished for you to reach your goal. Maybe there's four, but usually there's around three. I want you to sketch that in. And if you come up with it real fast, start filling in what you know you need to do, the inspired action steps to have the project be completed. And then when all the projects are completed, your goal is completed. Okay, see how that works? Let's take about 5 minutes and fill that in. Now, this 90-day goal is something you're going to want to go back to and really plan out. Okay? Because I saved that for last because when you've done all the energetic alignment, you should more easily be able to fill in the physical stuff, the tasks, the things that you need to do, and you're aligned. Like you can find the things that you're willing to do rather than, well, so and so said I needed to do this in order to manifest this goal, but I don't want to do that. Then don't do it. Don't do it because you're not going to do it. So don't set yourself up for failure. So you see how everything led to this, and then that's like your practical to-do list. Because it's inspired action. It's not I should or obligated action. It's inspired. Like I want to do it. I want to do it. Like I'm excited about this. Nobody has to motivate me like my little pilot light is. Woo, let's do it. Okay. All right, we have one more thing to do, and you're going to need to stand up and make sure that you have, I mean, I guess you could walk in a circle if you need to. I need you to have about 8 feet because I'm going to have you take steps forward. And if you're in a space where you're like, well, I don't have 8 feet, then you're probably going to need to walk in a circle. Okay. You can turn your camera off, but I'm going to need you to stand up. Now, if you have any of these essential oils, you can do this technique before I actually talk you through walking toward your goal. If you have the Believe oil, I want you to smell it. It's going to get you into the frequency of belief because remember, these oils are blended for frequency, for a result, not for smell. Smell it, and then I want you to take a drop and press it into the lower right of your palm. So your right hand, right there in the lower part of it, I want you to press it. Okay, we're hitting some acupressure points here. If you have the abundance oil, smell it. Believe and abundance together are powerful. I want you to do the same thing in your lower left palm. Okay? I want you to press it. If you have the Envision oil, and if you don't have these, don't worry about it. Seriously, don't worry about it. If you have the Envision oil, I want you to take a drop. I want you to put it on your forehead, your third eye, so that you can envision, and then I want you to smell it. I just smell straight from the bottle. All right. And if you have a quartz crystal, it could be clear quartz, it could be citrine, it could be amethyst, it could be what else? Any quartz crystal. When you stand up, I want you to hold it. You can hold it in either hand. You can hold one in each hand, okay? So I want you to stand up. You're going to be taking some physical steps. You're going to need about 8 feet in front of you. And I am going to guide you in walking toward your goal. So I want you to have your goal in your mind. And I also want you to feel it in your heart because we've already done the work on what it feels like to actually live your manifested goal. So I want you to think of it and I want you to feel it in your heart. And I want you to feel it and like visualize it with all your senses, like you've just manifested it. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Okay. I want you to have that imprinted in your energy field because that's where we're walking to. So right now, today, where are you today with your goal? I do not want you to get catastrophic, like, oh my gosh, it's so far away. No, no. Maybe you visualize it like it's a 10-step plan and I'm on step one. Okay, just be factual about it. Where are you? Where are you today? And I want you to look to what you just did, where you manifested it, you're visualizing it, you feel it. It is down the path. Maybe you can't see it. Maybe it's foggy. I want you to take one physical step forward. Just one step. It doesn't have to be a big step, could just be 6 inches. Take a physical step forward. Your eyes are closed. When you take your step forward, what do you see with your goal? Because that could be a next step. What do you see? In your mind, I want you to look around. What do you see? I want you to take another step forward. Physically, take a step. You're stepping even closer to the manifestation of your goal. What are you feeling? What do you feel? What do you see in your mind's eye? When you look around, you're on your path, you're aligned with your goal. This is a soul path goal, and you are walking down this soul path. What do you see? Maybe you see people that'll help you. Maybe you see books or education or a mentor or a technique or another idea, another step. I want you to take another step. Physically walk forward another step. Are you starting to see the end result, the manifestation? Is it getting a little clear? Does it feel more within reach? How does it feel? I want you to feel it. Not just think it, feel it. You are one step closer. Now take another step. The goal is even closer. Can you see it more clearly? Can you see the path ahead, the steps that you will take, the alignment that is already laid out energetically for how you get from 1 to 10? Do you see it? Is it more clear? Take another step, physically step forward. Can you touch it? I want you to take another step because your goal isn't within arm's reach. Can you literally touch it? Do you see the clarity? Do you feel how you're feeling when you reach it? And now I want you to take one final step and literally reach out your arms, and I want you to hug that goal, and I want you to pull it in to your heart center, because that end result has all the feelings, all the joy, all the celebration, everything that you're feeling. Job well done, accomplishment. I can't believe I did it. The joy, the people around you high-fiving you, you're high-fiving yourself. You are literally drawing that into your heart center. And I want you to sit with that as it merges into your energy field, because you are aligning right now with the frequency of the goal manifesting. You have literally brought it into your energy field. How are you living your life at that point? Like, who are you? How are you moving through life? What are the words that you're saying? How are you giving back? What is your vibration as you walk through life now that you've manifested that goal? How have you shifted? How has the reality around you shifted? Because you shifted. How do things look? Okay. All right. I want you to come back, and on page 3 in your workbook at the very bottom, I want you to write how you felt when you walked toward your goal and when you literally embraced it and drew it into your energy field and into your heart center. I want you to write that on page 3 at the bottom. The difference between people who manifest their goals and those who do not is that those who do not make changes. They keep vibrating from the same frequency, which creates the same beliefs. Like their beliefs don't change, therefore their thoughts don't change. Their vibration doesn't change, and so their reality stays the same. And so they just keep drawing in the same. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. There's a lot of people super happy with that. They like the consistency of that. But for people like you who are goal setters and have dreams, this is the difference. So this workbook, you can keep reprinting the pages because, I'm writing on this all the time and it's like, ooh, this page is a mess. I need to reprint it and take out all my edits and write a fresh copy. Keep working with it, but joyfully. If it feels like a burden, like I should do this or an obligation, you're out of alignment. Go back and re-listen to this to get into frequency. And just make a promise to yourself to finish this workbook within a week, by next weekend. Finish it. Okay? Mark your calendar for the new moon date so that the day before you know what little mini goal to set for the new moon based on where it's hitting in your astrological birth chart. Keep that 90-day calendar where you can see it so that you know what you're working on. And keep page 3. my 2026 vision, keep it where you can see it every day, every day, every day until the goal is manifested. And if you have more than one goal, maybe you have two. Three goals is usually the most that people can truly work on. You're going to have one for each goal. Okay. And if you get stuck, rather than give up or make excuses, reach out. I offer coaching. I will coach you through it and get you unstuck. Because sometimes it takes somebody else asking the questions so that you can actually do the work. But you have the techniques here to work with it. All right, I'm going to stop the recording and then I'm going to open it up for comments or questions or anything like that. So for those listening to the recording, thank you for being here. And for those of you here live, thank you for being here.